The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
First Week Podcast coming to you September 24th, 2023. It's sort of a quick check-in Sunday afternoon. I'm actually recording this literally at 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of the 4 o'clock sessions on the NFL. But we won't talk NFL on this episode because we'll save all that for Tuesday's podcast when we have the student game report with Kyle Nash. He's expected to be back on the saddle on Tuesday, so we'll save all the football talk, college and NFL for them. But it was really wild first 1 o'clock session. Again, we'll talk about it here on the show. We'll discuss on Tuesday on the episode. But I wanted to check in here and kind of get some things off my chest, while I have a time to do it. So, because the 4 o'clock session in these games really, it's really 3 games that on paper there's shit. I mean, I did bet them, but they're shit. But I want to get some things on my chest because a couple things happened to me in the last couple of days. I want to get off my chest. If you don't follow me on social media, first off, EJ Christian 7 on X/Twitter, Earnest _Christian on Instagram/Threads, or Earnest Christian, of course, on Facebook. Had a little accident on Thursday. I was reminded, and you see the episode of this podcast, a reminder that I am 43, not 23. And the reason for the episode name today is I had a little accident on Thursday. My kids are starting to get into football now, which is awesome. It's taken a long time, but my oldest one, he tried out for the flag football team in the school this year. He didn't make it, unfortunately, but his interest in football has skyrocketed in the last couple months. So the thing is, sorry, I got distracted here. I got a little text here, but I'll figure it out in a second. The issue is, we play. So him and I, well, both of the kids, we all play catch every so often. We outside, throw the ball around, and I'll tell you, my old son has gotten better with that as time has gone on. It's one of those things where I'm enjoying it now. He's gotten better at his hands and he's all that. He's really enjoying the sport to where now he's starting to get interest in even watching me now on Sundays. Not completely there, but he's better. He's a lot closer to where, because for me it's been wrestling. The one thing him and I have bonded on really when it comes to anything type of sports is really wrestling. He's not into basketball heavily just yet or football, but he's slowly getting into basketball too as well. Definitely getting into football this season, so he's starting to understand some of the nuances of the game. Long way to go though. But we were playing catch on Thursday, and he threw the ball. I ran an out route, and he threw the ball away from me, and near my neighbor's car. Now I live in a townhouse, so it's a community we live in, and the ball was going toward my neighbor's car. Now it's not just any car; it's a nice car. In fact, it's a Camaro. So it's one of those things where I don't want the windows to shatter or even dent the body. So I was very concerned. So my first instinct is to race towards the ball that he missed through, and go chase the ball, and try to block him in the car. The problem is, I'm 43, not 23, and I sprinted so fast to the point where I tripped. I went from the grass to the asphalt and tripped. And I fell. And I fell my ass hard. It was bad. To where my phone in my pocket fell out, my headphones fell out my pocket. And then, of course, I don't even know if the ball even hit the car. To be honest with you, I don't think it did. But I fell so hard that I scraped my face. If you follow me on social media, of course, you'll see the big mark on my right cheek. I scraped my face on the ground. I scraped both my hands, mostly my left hand, a big gash on my left hand, my knuckles on my left hand, my left forearm, a big scrape as well too. on my knee, not big time, but on my left knee also scrape as well too. And I was in a lot of pain. My whole body was in a lot of pain. And I was in so much shock that for a second I thought I had a concussion. That's how bad it was. For a second I thought I had a concussion. So my kids and my oldest one freaked the hell out. He's like, "Dad, are you okay?" He came, he raced after me. He was stunned because he's never seen me compromise before like that. I think the only other time you ever see me like compromise or like emotional or vulnerable was when we put down my dog last year. And I, obviously in front of him and the rest of the family, cried and bawled my eyes out. And he had actually never saw it before. I've always been, I guess to him, very strong and stoic, and you want to call that, but I've never really ever been vulnerable on that one time. And me falling like that was kind of a shock to him. He was like, "Oh my God, you okay? Oh my gosh, that looks so bad." He was very concerned. It took me a couple minutes to recover, like to really gather myself to get up. I had to limp back to the house. Number one. Funny thing is, when I got up, he's like, "Can we still play football? Can we stay outside play football?" And I go, "Dude, I can't even move right now." He's like, "Well, can me and Logan, my youngest son, can we just throw the ball?" I go, "No, dude, I gotta go inside and really lay down for a little bit." I was so out of it. I had to go lay on my couch and just kind of like, gather my thoughts and whatnot. Like I for a second there, even more than a second, I thought I may have had like a little concussion because I think I hit my head on the ground. I mean, obviously my face scraped, obviously, but I don't know if I had any impact on the ground or not. So it took me, to be honest with you, by the time I got inside the house, into the couch, and gather myself, it took me probably a good 15, 20 minutes before I was able to actually function normal again, like really feel like, okay, I'm all right now. I'm centered now. My son went upstairs and got me a Band-Aid and stuff, and put a Band-Aid mainly on my left arm, my left hand, where I had the big gash. And the thing is too, also I was concerned as well because I work with my hands. My 9 to 5 is with my hands. I'm a poker dealer, so I have to make sure that my hands can work. My hands is my money. Which luckily nothing was broken in my hands. Everything was fine. It's just the gashes and stuff, but it was not none as bad as I thought it was going to be. Could have been a whole lot worse, man. I'll tell you that right now. But man, the part that's hard is the fact that I've fallen like that in the past. Like, as a kid, as a young adult, the whole nine, and recovered fast. Not a problem. The problem is that when you're a lot older, those wounds tend to heal a lot slower. And even if you don't have a wound, the pain is a lot harder on you. So even 3 days later, I'm still feeling it, like in my body. Like I'm still feeling the soreness in my body, especially my left leg and part of my back. I mean, I already have a bulging disc in my neck, which is recovered, thankfully, but I still have osteoarthritis in my neck. I got to be very careful. I told my wife, because she wasn't home at the time this happened. She got home about an hour and a half later, and she freaked out. She's like, "What the hell? Are you okay?" Like, oh my God. And she nursed me back to health and whatnot. And the last couple of days, which I'm thankful for her, obviously, for that. But oh my God, it was insane. And even today, like 3 days later, I'm still trying to process it all, because I mean, I haven't fallen like that in decades at least. Probably in my early 20s last time I felt like that. But it's one of those things where, you're reminded how much older you are. Like I'm 43. Like my mind doesn't feel old, but my body obviously is a lot older. I'm not saying I'm like this old guy in like 60s or 70s. So there's a lot of life ahead of me, that I absolutely want to live and enjoy this middle of my life and then into my later years. I want to enjoy that. But man, it's a stark reminder that times do change and there's tears of life that you go through, and whew, man, I'm still feeling it now. To be honest with you, even I'm sitting here recording this podcast, still feeling it. But yeah, I was my kids freaked out. It was one of those things where, here's the worst part. I had to go to work next day. I worked 2 days after that, and of course the running joke at work now is, "Oh, so did your wife beat you up again?" and I knew it was going to happen. And where I work at, I've been there 20 years, and I'm very thankful for my coworkers. They're fantastic people, and we're one big happy family. A lot of these people who I work with now, I've worked with for a long time, like since my early 20s. So we've grown together. We've had families together, marriages, the whole nine. So a lot of my coworkers, man, they're gonna take their shots at me a little bit, and lucky for me, I have rhinoceros skin. I can handle that. And some of my customers, they're like, "Oh, it's your wife beat you again." I mean, it is what it is, man. And my wife, she feels bad somewhat too. She's like, I love you. I go, yeah, I'm not worried about it. It is what it is. A joke's a joke. I can handle it. But yeah, a friendly reminder a couple days ago that I am 43, not 23, and my body needs to remind me of that every so often. Anyway, so speaking of my wife, this is funny. So I remember last year in the podcast I said that my wife is, this last year she finally got into football with me, like the first time in the 17 years we've been together, in the 12 years we've been married. This is the first time she's gotten really into football last year. Well, now she's taking a step further. This season, since the season started, she has now gotten into gambling on football. So much to the point now, like she'll text me. So she works on Sundays. I'm home Sundays. So what she does, she'll go to work about 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30 in the morning, and about somewhere within the first hour and a half when she's at work, she's gonna send me a text. She sends me a text saying, that, hey, what are the games today? I want to gamble some games today. Give some good parlays. And then not only that, now she's like giving me parlays to bet on. Like she's actually giving me gambling advice now all of a sudden. Like, hello, look, I wouldn't call myself a big gambler. I know people on the podcast will say, "Oh, you're a degenerate." No, degenerate is my boy Zach. We have on the show every Wednesday/Thursday when we do the EJ versus Degenerate. Zach, he's the degenerate of the show. He gambles on everything. Okay, I don't. I mainly gamble on football, and I do 3-14 parlays. I keep it simple. I'll do a $5 parlay on 3-4 games. If I hit it, great. If I don't hit it, great. You know what I mean? And what happens is, but I don't gamble on basketball because basketball is too nuanced. I might do prop bets here and there, but that's about it. So it's come to a minimum with me with football. It's very controlled. But it's so funny seeing my wife, the love of my life, my soulmate, all of a sudden not just get into the gambling, into football. Now she's into the gambling aspect of it. And a lot of it's also because our coworkers as well are into it as well. But the fact that she bounced off of me because of my analysis on the game itself. It's just hysterical. She'll send like she'll send things to me. As I'm getting texts right now that apparently the Cardinals are actually beating the crap out of the Cowboys right now. It's just simple. She'll send all these things to me, like whether it's gambling advice or games to bet on or games she wants to bet on, this and that. And then she will actually sit there and argue with me about like, oh, you shouldn't bet that game. Perfect example. I'm a Giants fan. So this past Thursday's game, the Giants and the Niners. The Niners were 11-point favorites in that game. Okay. And she said that I just don't see the Giants losing by more than 11 points. She said that I think the Giants are going to cover this game. I don't think they'll win it, but they'll cover the game. And I remember saying, and I told her, no, listen, you don't understand. The Giants are playing on a short week. No Saquon Barkley. The Niners are probably the best team in football right now currently. I think the obvious case is to pick the Niners to cover. She kept saying no, bet the Giants. I ended up going, we ended up not betting anyway because I by the time the game started I forgot to put a bet in. But anyway, I said take the under and take the Giants the Niners to cover. Now, granted, it looked good for a good while, for a good quarter and 3/4 and some odd minutes in the fourth quarter. Because the Giants kept the game close. That score we saw, 30-12, was not indicative of how the game really played out. The Giants were in that game, even though the Niners were a better team. But the Niners did cover. And I also hit the under as well, too, although I didn't bet the game. But it's just great seeing her all of a sudden doling out this advice now to me when it comes to football. It's fantastic. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. It's another thing we bonded on, really, to be honest with you. I mean, it's why I love her so much. It's why, and the thing is, I'm not trying, the thing with me is I don't make her watch this stuff. We have our own interests. There are things she's into that I, tend to watch with her once in a while, and vice versa. But we give each other space. I think one thing we learned in this marriage as we've gotten older is that give each other space to flourish as individuals while still knowing and still valuing the marriage. And I think her and I have mastered that through the years, especially in these latest years. You see the divorce rate and you see all this stuff out there. The amount of divorces you see out there now, which is, to me, I think it's disturbing. I don't know why it's happening. Only celebrities. Now, granted, it's all celebrities, but still, even friends of mine and they've all gotten divorced and or separating from their spouses for whatever reason. And I'm not saying that it's the right or wrong way to do it, but I'll be honest, it sometimes it scares me that her and I are still a strong unit. Her and I are very traditional people. We're very old school traditional people. But I think it's fantastic that she's into this stuff now. It's certainly gives us something else to talk about too, especially because her and I love talking about a lot of things, music and life and being parents and our kids and our futures and all that stuff. And now you can have football and basketball. Obviously, basketball has always been there because she always loved basketball. But now football is not at the list now. It's kind of cool. I actually like. A lot of guys don't like when they say their wives don't get the football. They hate it because it tramples on their stuff. I'm totally against that. I'm really totally against that. Anyway, I am looking forward to the fall, and well, actually, we are technically in the fall now as of this weekend. But looking forward, I'm finally looking forward to the fall and into the winter. It's to me as I got older, I always love the holidays, obviously, but I feel like the last couple of years, especially too, I think I really, really embraced the this time of year. Obviously sports is at its peak with basketball, football, all that. The holidays, of course, is unifying time for families and friends. I think for me also too, especially living in Florida, the weather here, it's been, first of all, this was a really, really hot summer. I hated the summer. It was really hot. It kind of felt like this summer, especially of the 30 years I've been living in Florida, 30 plus years, was easily the hottest summer I think I've ever experienced. And I'm not even kidding about that. Especially July and August was bad. It was just monstrously hot here. But I'm looking forward to fall and winter. I really am. I love the holiday season. I love Halloween now. I'm got back to Halloween in recent years because of my kids, and I just love this time of year. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a couple of things I'm going to be missing with my brother's wedding, of course, and Curacao, which I'm still really down about that. Probably his bachelor party as well too, because I just can't take time off of work right now and all that stuff, and I'm stressed out because of trying to recover from that because of the fact that I missed a lot of time at work early in the year and whatnot. But the fall and winter for me is top tier when it comes to just like the environment and the family dynamics and all that good stuff. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And the thing I'm hoping is that the weather cools off. And you've seen a little bit. I noticed yesterday when I got to work. I went to work at about 8:30 in the morning, and for some reason the daytime was in the morning. It felt a little nippier than usual for a mid-September day. Let's say that. I'm not saying it was cold. Let's say it felt a little nippier than usual. So hopefully, my goal is to really up my workouts now, work out more because it won't be as hot outside. So I can work out more during the day, walk more during the day, that kind of thing. And hopefully my health will probably also benefit from that too as well. But I'm looking forward to definitely the fall and the winter this year. I really am. I found the summertime this year very depressing, honestly. People say the winter, and maybe because the winter people who find the winter depressing is probably up north because of the snow, getting snowed in and all that stuff. I can totally understand that. But down here, the hot ass sun, it's steaming hot. My AC in my car will take like literally 30 minutes for it to get cool. That's horrible. I hate it. I hated the summer this year. I'm looking forward to winter, fall and winter this year. I'm looking forward to it, and we're already here. We're in fall. I guess fall just came around 2 days ago, so I'm very happy about that. One last thing we got here. I just want to keep it short and simple today because I want to get these things off my chest. They announced today that Usher Raymond is performing at this year's halftime show. I fucking love it. Usher. He has a great catalog. I've been saying, dude, we can't remember when was the episode. It was maybe last summer, but it was the episode I did on this show that I discussed Usher. I think it was last summer. Right, and I think it was after he did his NPR Tiny Desk performance, where I discussed rather, just how underrated he is. In my opinion, he is. And even as long as he's been in the game, he's been in the game now. He's been in the game now, since '97, his first album, My Way, came out. I feel like as time has gone on, because his peak years obviously was in the early 2000s with Confessions and Ace and 01, those two records that came out in 01, 04, which, by the way, sold massively. Even more than Justin Timberlake's top records, for the record. People forget that. But somehow Justin Timberlake gets more cred than Usher. Get the hell out of here. I think Usher's a much better singer, much better performer, dancer, the whole nine than Justin Timberlake. Not hate on Justin Timberlake, of course, but I'm just saying it is what it is. But, I'll be honest with you, the Usher getting the nod here came out of left field. Because I know Usher has had a very successful residency in Vegas as of late, which has been really, I've heard great things about it, first off. He's had a little bit of a comeback as of late, with the Tiny Desk performance last year and then the residency in Vegas. But I've always been a big Usher fan. And when I saw the news, I was like, awesome. Like, obviously, if I had to pick an artist or band I want to see perform in the Super Bowl, I would pick Metallica. Which I maybe hopefully in the future that happens. But I love the fact they went after Usher, a real performer. That I think will have the stage. I think it'll be fantastic. I think it'll be a great performance, honestly. They got it right here. I know Jay-Z is now kind of like in charge of like picking who the artist he wants to do the halftime show. He had Rihanna last year, which I thought was a really good performance, of course. The Weeknd 2 years ago and all that. But I think this is gonna be one of the better ones. I think this can be a top 10-ish performance here. Like just looking at it from a broader scope, because Usher is a tremendous performer, and I'm looking forward to watching it. So I'm glad they did this. I'm happy they decided on him to be the artist for this year's Super Bowl halftime show. So congrats to you, Usher. Salute to you, and you're gonna kill it, obviously. So anyway, like I said, short and sweet, because we'll do another solo episode later in the week. We got a lot of episodes coming this week. We actually have a lot of episodes planned this week. In fact, we did this one already. This is Sunday. So we can report on Tuesday coming up. I got a couple more episodes down the pike that I'm scheduled to do. Of course, the regular EJ vs. Degenerate, and probably another solo episode probably later in the week. So this feed is going to be filled up with a lot of content. Look out for it. Subscribe to the podcast, of course, on any podcast catcher, whether you have Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, you name it, whatever you want to do. We talk about everything in this podcast, any and everything. But even more importantly, especially guys, subscribe to my YouTube page at Earnest EJ Christian, or youtube.com/@Earnest Christian. We have clips of the show there and all that good stuff. So until then, we will talk soon, and enjoy the rest of your football Sunday.